Good morning to everyone. So here we will start 15th group. The P block 15th group. This is also called nitrogen family. 15th group elements are nitrogen family elements. These nitrogen family elements also called nicogens. Another name for this nitrogen family, nicogens. Actually, these hydrides are suffocating in nature, very poisonous in nature. Hence, we can call them nitrogen family elements also nicogens. It is absence of oxygen. They are little poisonous in nature. So, what are the elements? The 15th group: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. These are the regular elements. One new element after 100. Moscovium. And the general electronic configuration of 15th group elements is NS2, NP3, and their atomic numbers of the elements: nitrogen atomic number 7. Next, one by one, you can apply the magic number, that is 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32. To identify the next atoms, the respective group elements atomic number: 2 for first to second period, that is over. Next, 7 to nitrogen to phosphorus, you have to take 8, that is 15. Anyhow, this is first period, second period, and next third period over, fourth period. So this comes under arsenic. You have to add 18, you will get 33. Next again 18, 51. Next 32, 83. Next one more, again 32, the magic number, and we will get 115. And these are the atomic numbers. By using these magic figures, we can easily identify the atomic numbers of the group elements. Now, their electronic configuration. Valence shell electronic configuration is NS2NP3. Now, nitrogen condensed electronic configuration, we can write helium. Nitrogen comes under second period, so 2s2, 2p3. Phosphorus, neon, 3s2, 3p3. Arsenic, argon. So in the fourth period, 3d orbitals involvement will be there. So 3d10, 4s2, 4p3. It is a krypton. 4d10, 5s2, 5p3. And the bismuth, xenon, 4f14, 5d10, 6s2, 6p3. Next, radon, this is 5f14, 6d10, 7s2, 7p. And these are the electronic configurations of these group elements: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth, and moscovium. Our main focus here, first 5 elements. This one. Here, first 2 elements, nitrogen, phosphorus, they are non-metallic in nature. They are the non-metals. And the next 2, there is arsenic, antimony, they are the metalloids, and the bismuth, it is metal. The elements above 100, generally they are radioactive in nature. Complete information about moscovium, still the research is undergoing. So our focus mainly on these 5 elements. First will be the physical properties of all these elements. Next, the chemical properties and individual elements, their compounds preparation one by one. First, you will see some physical property. Mainly the source of the elements, that is occurrence. Come to the nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most abundant element in the atmospheric air. Most abundant in atmospheric air. It's almost 71% by volume of nitrogen. Instead of most, we can say it is the first most abundant. The first most abundant element in atmospheric air is the nitrogen. And whereas in case of phosphorus, and this is the 11th most abundant element in atmospheric air. In earth crust. 11th most abundant in earth crust. So nitrogen atmospheric air, it is the first most, but in the earth crust, phosphorus is the 11th most. The remaining elements very rarely available. And here nitrogen mainly occurs in the earth crust as a nitrates like sodium nitrate and potassium nitrate in the earth crust. And sodium nitrate is called Chile saltpeter and the potassium nitrate is called Indian saltpeter. Nitrogen in the earth crust mainly can be available in the form of nitrate, sodium nitrate and potassium nitrate, and phosphorus in the earth crust mainly exists as a phosphates, that is apatite families. I can take the formula of apatite family. It exists as apatite family, calcium phosphate and calcium halide mostly, where X is fluorine, chlorine or hydroxy. So means fluoroapatite, chloroapatite, hydroxyapatite. The phosphorus mainly can occur in the earth crust as a apatite families like this. In that fluoroapatite is very important. Fluoroapatite. The formula 3Ca3PO4 vacantize and calcium fluoride. This is the fluoroapatite formula. And if we take here in place of fluorine, chloroapatite, if we take OH, hydroxyapatite. This is a source of phosphorus. Next, the remaining elements, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Arsenic, antimony and bismuth. Mainly they can occur as sulfides. They present in the form of sulfide or available in the form of sulfide, and that is the occurrence. Next, if you see the physical state of these elements, here mainly nitrogen exists in the diatomic state, gaseous state. Nitrogen, diatomic gas, again the atomicity of nitrogen is 2. It's a diatomic gas. And the phosphorus can exist in the tetraatomic form as a P4, tetraatomic waxy solid. The remaining elements also exist in the tetraatomic form, arsenic, antimony and bismuth.
The tetraatomic?
So, waxy solid. They are tetraatomic and crystalline solids. Tetraatomic in state, they are crystalline solids. But the tendency to form tetraatomicity top to bottom decreases. Mainly phosphorus can exist in the tetraatomic and nitrogen diatomic. The remaining also tetraatomic, but tendency is very less. Anyhow, again our main focus on these two, nitrogen and phosphorus. And similarly, some other physical properties here. Regular trends, that are periodic trends, atomic radius, ionization energies, electronegativity values one by one. First we will go with atomic radii. So as we know, the top to bottom atomic radii increases. So nitrogen to bismuth, the atomic radii increases. Top to bottom increases. Ionization energy. And here top to bottom ionization energy decreases. Why? Because the size increases. Top to bottom decreases. But here nitrogen can show more ionization energy. It has a triple bond, nitrogen triple bond, nitrogen. Next, electronegativity. Top to bottom electronegativity anyhow decreases. Here the last elements antimony and bismuth can show almost equal electronegativity. Nitrogen can show more electronegative value than phosphorus, and arsenic, antimony, bismuth almost closer, but still antimony and bismuth they are having equal electronegativity values. So here in these periodic trends, atomic radii, ionization energy and electronegativity, we can observe some regular trends. regular behavior. But some other properties like melting and boiling points, they cannot show some regular behavior. Some irregular order we can observe here. If you see the melting point of these elements initially increases from nitrogen to phosphorus and phosphorus to arsenic. But from arsenic to antimony and bismuth, the melting point will decreases. And this is a melting point order for these group elements. Arsenic, due to the smaller size, the involvement of d electrons, effective packing, that can show the more melting points. So up to nitrogen to arsenic increases, and then again it will decrease. Similarly, boiling point also, you can see some irregular behavior. Top to bottom boiling points will increase. So nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, but still antimony will shows more boiling point than the bismuth due to there some structural difference. So these are some physical properties we have to concentrate about this nitrogen family. Next, chemical properties. The first one, oxidation state changes, oxidation states. Oxidation state. The common oxidation state of these group elements is -3, +3 and +5. Commonly they can show this one. Common oxidation states. Is -3 and +3 and +5. But exception with bismuth. Bismuth very hardly can form the -3 oxidation state. So no compound with bismuth with -3 oxidation state. Bismuth hardly show the -3 oxidations. The remaining nitrogen, phosphorus, there is a common oxidation state for -3. Arsenic, antimony very rarely, and they can show +3 and +5 is a common oxidation state. Arsenic, antimony. And here the tendency of +3 and +5 oxidation states, top to bottom. So +3 oxidation state, stability of +3 oxidation state top to bottom increases, and whereas the stability of +5 oxidation state top to bottom decreases. A tendency to form the oxidation states. So stability of +3 oxidation state increases from top to bottom, but +5 oxidation state stability decreases. So mostly we may get the question with respect to the last three elements. Here you can see the bismuth 3 plus, mostly can show the stable elements in the +3 oxidation state, then antimony and arsenic. And this is the stability order with respect to the +3, bismuth, arsenic, antimony and arsenic. And if it is the +5 oxidation state stability, bismuth +5 very rarely it can form, next antimony and arsenic. Arsenic can form elements in +5 oxidation state stable compared to the antimony and bismuth. In case of bismuth, only one compound we can find. We know that only one compound with the bismuth +5 oxidation state, that is bismuth pentafluoride. Only one compound with +5 oxidation state. So why top to bottom the stability of +3 oxidation state will increase, and why bismuth very rarely or very hardly show the +5 oxidation state? That is due to the inert pair effect. Due to the concept of inert pair effect. So we know that what is inert pair effect? It is the reluctance of NS2 electrons involved in bond formation. These are the general chemical for the general electronic configuration for these 15th group elements NS2 and P3. Here these NS2 electrons and they are reluctant towards the bond formation in case of bismuth. And if you see the bismuth, in bismuth case, these two electrons will not involved in the bond formation. Only this Np3 electrons involved in the bond formation. Hence, it can show a +3 oxidation state comfortably. And that is why it cannot show the +5 due to this inert pair effect. Why they are reluctants? Again, bismuth due to the involvement of, this is the electronic configuration of bismuth. And the involvement of 14 F electrons and 10 D electrons, they can have the poor shielding effect. So they cannot stop the nuclear force on this lost electron. Here bismuth has more, almost 83 protons are there on the nucleus, and these 83 protons can pull this NS2 electrons, 6s2 electrons effectively. Why? Because poor shielding of this 49, almost 24 electrons. So that is why these two electrons cannot involve in the bond formation. Only these 6p3 electrons can involve. And that is inert pair effect. And that is why top to bottom, higher oxidation state stability decreases. And if you see in case of nitrogen, nitrogen apart from this -3, +3 and +5, it can show other variable oxidation state. Almost it can show 10 different types of oxidation states. Nitrogen can show oxidation states, or it can exhibit the oxidation states in between from -1/3 to +5. Here almost you can see 10 oxidation states, 10 in number. You can see all these oxidation states. First -1,3 oxidation state with this compound. This is a hydrojoic acid, N3H. Where the oxidation state of nitrogen is -1/3. Next we have NH3. This is ammonia. It can show the oxidation state -3 and hydrazine. And here it can show -2 oxidation state, NH2OH. This is a hydroxylamine. Here the oxidation state of nitrogen is -1. Next, elemental nitrogen, N2, where the oxidation state is 0. Nitrogen in +1, it can show -1 up to the +5. N2O, nitrous oxide, laughing gas. Nitrous oxide, oxidation state is +1. NO, this is nitric oxide. Where it can show +2 oxidation state. Dinitrogen trioxide, oxidation state +3. Where this one, apart from this, HNO2, nitrous acid. Nitrous acid also can show the same +3 oxidation state. NO2, nitrogen dioxide. Where the oxidation state of nitrogen +4. The last one, N2O5, nitrogen pentoxide. Here nitrogen can show plus 5 oxidation state. Here we can take nitric acid. And here also nitrogen can show plus 5 oxidation state. These are the oxidation states of nitrogen, almost from minus 1 by 3, minus 3, 2, 1, 0, almost 10 different types of oxidation states. That is the nitrogen. In the remaining elements, most phosphorus case, most it can show minus 3, 0, plus 3 and plus 5. Most common oxidation states for phosphorus. Antimony, again it can show minus 3, 0, plus 3 and plus 5. Arsenic also. Bismuth, there is no minus 3 oxidation state. You can see 0, plus 3, very more cases, and plus 5 again very rare. One important point related to this oxidation states, here oxy acids which exist in between the variable oxidation state, they can undergo disproportionation reactions, especially oxy acids of nitrogen and oxy acids of phosphorus. If they exist in between the minimum and maximum oxidation states, they can undergo disproportionation reactions. Here oxy acids of nitrogen and phosphorus in intermediate oxidation states intermediate oxidation states. Here intermediate oxidation state means in between minus 3 to plus 5, in between these two, both case, phosphorus case and nitrogen case. Oxy acids of nitrogen intermediate oxidation states can undergo disproportionation reactions. Disproportionation means in a molecule the same element can undergo both oxidation and reduction. Example, let us take this nitrous acid. Here nitrogen oxidation state is plus 3. So this is in between minus 3 to plus 5. Hence it can undergo the disproportionation. So in one of the compound, the nitrogen oxidation state will increase, and another compound, means another product, the oxidation state of nitrogen will decrease. So here HNO2 can undergo disproportionation and it can give HNO3 and nitric oxide. We will take 3 moles of HNO2, we will get this. So here HNO3 nitrogen oxidation state plus 5, here nitrogen oxidation state plus 2. So plus 3 to plus 5 increasing oxidation, plus 3 to plus 2 decreasing oxidation reduction. So the same nitrogen element undergoing both oxidation and reduction. So that is called disproportionation reaction. Similarly, one of the phosphorus oxy acid, this is also very important. Phosphorus acid, it can undergo disproportionation and it can give phosphoric acid and phosphine. Again here phosphorus oxidation state plus 5, sorry, this is plus 3. And this is a plus 3, it is changing to plus 5. In a phosphine, the phosphorus oxidation state minus 3. So plus 3 to plus 5 increasing and plus 3 to minus 3 decreasing. One is increasing and one is decreasing. Again a disproportionation reaction. Similarly, hypophosphorus acid also, H3PO2 also can undergo the disproportionation reaction. It can form its higher acid, phosphorus acid, and PH3, phosphine. Again here the oxidation state plus 1 and here the oxidation state plus 3 and minus 3. Again this H3PO3, it may further undergo the disproportionation. Again it may give the final product. So H3PO2 can give finally at high temperature conditions H3PO4 and phosphine. In between you will get H3PO3. So these are a few examples for disproportionation reactions, where the element exists in intermediate oxidation states between minus 3 to plus 5. And then next here, different oxidation states nitrogen can show among all. So that is sometimes why it will show, that is actually the anomalous behavior of the nitrogen. So nitrogen can show some irregular behavior compared to the remaining group elements. So mostly in the second period element they can show some irregular behavior compared to the third and higher period elements. That may be due to the smaller size or higher electronegativity, some unavailability of d orbitals. These are the few factors that second period elements can show some irregular behavior compared to the third and higher period elements. So now here anomalous behavior of the nitrogen, anomalous properties of nitrogen. So why the nitrogen can show some irregular behavior? That is due to, the reason is due to its smaller size compared to the other elements, and due to higher electronegativity, almost 3.5 electronegativity for nitrogen, higher electronegativity. This is almost third most more electronegativity element in the periodic table, higher electronegativity, and high ionization energy. High ionization energy, that is again due to the stable electronic configuration of field configuration. Higher ionization energy. And the fourth very important, non-availability of d orbitals or absence of vacant d orbitals, or unavailability of d orbitals. There is no involvement of d orbitals in case of second period elements. D orbitals will involve from third and higher period elements. So these are the few reasons, that is why it can show some anomalous properties. So what type of properties? In which type of properties it will show difference? So that is, so it will show the different properties. First one, nitrogen can form multiple bond. It can form p pi multiple bonds. With itself and with other elements. With itself means like nitrogen triple bond nitrogen, p pi multiple bonds, and it can form with the carbon element also. It can form the double bond with oxygen. So like this it can form p pi multiple bonds, but other elements cannot form this type of the bonds. The other means the rest of the group elements, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. And also it cannot form p pi d pi bonds. It can form only p pi bonds, but not p pi d pi. Cannot form p pi d pi and d pi bonds. But whereas phosphorus and arsenic can form. Whereas phosphorus and arsenic can. This can form, but nitrogen cannot form. Again, the nitrogen bond energy, if we see, this is weaker compared to the phosphorus bond energy. Nitrogen single bond energy is less compared to the phosphorus bond energy. That is mainly due to the interelectronic repulsions. Due to interelectronic repulsions. Due to the small size and having the 3 lone pairs around the nitrogen, here you can see more interelectronic repulsions, and that leads to the easy breakage of that bond. So they have the less bond energy, whereas phosphorus, they are having more bond energy. Due to that, it can show less tendency towards the catenation. Nitrogen can show less tendency towards catenation property because of less single bond energy. Here if you see the group elements, phosphorus can show more catenation property than nitrogen. Then you have the remaining arsenic, antimony, bismuth. And this is a catenation property for the group elements. Phosphorus can show more catenation property due to the more single bond phosphorus energy. One more point, the nitrogen can show maximum valency 4 only. Maximum covalency is 4, means it cannot form more than 4 bonds. The maximum bonds can be formed by nitrogen is 4, but whereas the other group, the remaining group elements can form bonds up to 6. The covalency exceeds. I can take example here. In case of nitrogen, the maximum covalency with in ammonium, it can form 4 bonds. Or N2O5. Said oxidation state is +5. Oxidation state can exceed more than 4, but covalency cannot. Here again the maximum bonds is 4, but oxidation state is +5. But whereas other elements, phosphorus, other group elements, phosphorus, arsenic, they can form more than 6 bonds. If you take phosphorus, maximum covalency in phosphorus is 6. It can form PF6 minus, where the maximum covalency is 6. So again, the reason is why it can show the maximum covalency 4 is that is due to the absence of vacant d orbitals. In case of nitrogen second period, so we have only availability of 2s and 2p orbitals only. So 2s and 2p orbitals can accommodate maximum each electrons. Each electrons means each bond can take 2 electrons. It can form 4 bonds only. We cannot make more than 4 bonds by using this each electrons. Whereas the remaining group elements, and here phosphorus, the orbitals involved 3s and 3p and vacant 3d orbitals. So it can accommodate total 18 electrons. So by 2 means 9 bonds. It can form maximum 9 bonds, but here the maximum covalency for phosphorus is 6. So it can exceed its valency due to the vacant d orbitals. And there is no availability of the d orbitals. Nitrogen, the maximum covalency is 4.
So once more.